Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Force with a Day 1 recap for Destiny. I'd like to give you guys just sort of a wrap-up of everything that happened today. I'll let you know how far I've progressed and sort of share my initial thoughts and how I feel after sinking, I'd say it was somewhere probably around 9 hours total into the game this afternoon. So first and foremost, how did the afternoon go? How far did I get? Well, as you can see in the background, I'm currently sitting at a level 12. This is the most recently recorded footage just before sitting down to do this audio. This was the last mission that I did. So yes, I'm level 12. Yes, the max level is 20. Sort of, because you can actually extend beyond 20. I guess I've heard of characters getting up to like 28, maybe 29 or 30. I don't know what the true cap is, but essentially the base character level is 20, and then you can acquire gear that will push your level higher beyond that. But yeah, I'm level 12 in just the afternoon. And also, you know, I started off pretty quickly going through the content that I experienced in the beta, which was the Earth content on Old Russia. And I breezed through that. I did all the missions. I did a handful of strikes, and we might be revisiting that area, but it seems as of now that I'm done with Earth, unless the story loops back into the later levels and has me returning, which is entirely possible because I still haven't visited King's Watch, which was the one location that was supposedly blocked off from the beta that was still available there. So that leads me to believe that at a higher level, I'm going to be revisiting Earth maybe once I get to a certain point in the story, and there will be those higher level enemies to fight against within that same parameter there. But yeah, I did the Earth, and I've actually also completed, or at least the first stage, just like with Earth, how we might be revisiting, I've also completed the Moon, because I just, after doing the last mission that I did, unlocked the next planet, which was not previously available. So it looks like as of now, I've done a majority of the Earth and a majority of the Moon content, and those are two of only a handful of planets. Now, I know I'm repeating myself once more, but again, unless we're going back for a significant amount of content, it looks like I might be more or less done at these two locations, and I'll just have the additional planets to go through. And with the base level being 20, and me already being 12, actually I think like halfway to 12, almost halfway into 12, almost to 13, I'm almost at that base level, which means we'll be starting the gear grind with the raids and all of that stuff. So this sort of, I don't know, it almost further has me concerned again about the level of content, or maybe I shouldn't be concerned about that. Maybe yes, I'll be hitting 12 very fast, but then I'll be hitting 20 very fast, but then once we get to 20, maybe then there's just a ton of time that's going to be sunk into acquiring that gear to try to level up further. You know, at this point, we don't really know. It's still the baseline impressions, as was the case in the beta. Hands down, this game is undeniably very fun to play in terms of the feel of the shooting and all of that. It's great. It's nailed, which is pretty much what I expected from the company that made the Halo series. I expected combat to be well done, and it is in fact that, just as it was in the beta. You know, the variety of weapons and stuff, it's still pretty much the same. Get a handful of primary, handful of secondary, and only a few of the specialty weapons. You know, the primary weapons being things like the scout rifles and the auto rifles and the pulse rifles, and the secondary weapons like the fusion, the shotgun, and the sniper rifle. And then the final tier of weapons is like a sort of like a heavy machine gun and a rocket launcher. And there's really not a ton of variety. This isn't like a Borderlands style loot system in the sense that there's a ton of crazy weapons that do all sorts of zany things. You get progressively better weapons that deal more damage, and there's apparently an elemental attribute attached to some of them. Like some of the special weapons will do sort of like a fire damage, or there's one purple one that's like void or dark damage. I don't know exactly what it's called, but there does appear to be some sort of elemental damage. But I think the only difference that really makes is possibly resistances against your enemies. I haven't noticed much of a difference in terms of the shooting and the feeling of those style of weapons. So yeah, the weapon variety as of this point, once more, I'm only level 12. Maybe it'll get crazier the next 8 hours that I put in, but right now it's pretty, you've got guns, they get better, you shoot with them. But the interesting thing, even with that said, even though we don't have a ton of crazy weapons that are doing zany things, every time I get an upgrade, it's just so satisfying to get a weapon that's significantly stronger. In fact, what you're seeing in the background, this footage is after I had gotten a brand new hand cannon, which is this it's like a pistol basically as a primary weapon, except it's a big one, like a large revolver. And they by themselves tend to do a high amount of damage, especially with headshots. But the one that I'm using right now is a blue one. And no, I don't just mean the color of the gun is blue, because coincidentally it is, but it's a blue rarity, which is the highest rarity that I've achieved so far. I've got a majority of green pieces, so it goes like white, green, blue, and I think there's tiers beyond that as well. In fact, I'm pretty certain that there are. But yeah, this is the first blue item that I got, and happened to be a hand cannon. And as you can see back here, it is just tearing enemies up. I mean, this thing is a beast. I've been incredibly satisfied. It just being a game that's a solid and well put together shooter, plus having that loot aspect, which is just it's so satisfying to get an upgrade, especially with the weapons, especially when you jump a good 30 DPS just like that, and then you start tearing through enemies that you were having an incredibly difficult time doing prior to that, which is basically the situation that we're seeing here. This is me tearing through enemies as long as I get headshots, which I was doing a great job of this run a majority of the time. It's almost a one-shot for most enemies, and even the most difficult of enemies that sometimes would take a good 10, 20, 30 seconds to wear down. 3 headshots with the hand cannon and they're no more. Bye-bye. So yeah, that's I guess that's basically it. That's all I wanted to say. I've done the base level for the Earth as well as the Moon. I'm moving on to the next planet. I'm currently level 12. It's fun to play. We're still a little bit on the fence about that content side. Once I hit level 20, that's really when I'm going to be able to tell you guys what it's looking like. That might happen tomorrow, it might be the day after, but I just sort of wanted to give you guys an update as to where we were sitting at the moment. I keep wanting to play. I just want to hop in right now and play. I want to keep going on strikes and getting new upgraded weapons and stuff, and I'm still super excited to see what that end game raid stuff is all about, and that's really going to be the big question. Once I hit that point, there is the PvP, and there's obviously endless replayability in that if that's what you're interested in. But for the people who are just interested in the PvE side of things, the raiding, doing the strikes, and acquiring gear that way, what's it going to look like once we hit level 20? How is that gear grind going to be? How much variety is there in terms of the number of raids that you can do? That's a big question, and that's something I'm not able to answer for you right this moment, but hopefully I'll be able to answer that for you within the next couple of days. And I'll keep you guys updated as we continue to go throughout this. One last thing. This was the first game that I played on my Xbox One, and there's a strange, like a high-pitch hum or buzzing sound that comes through my speakers, but it's not just my speakers are broken. It appears to be the Xbox One is just making this sound. I'll tell you why I think that is. So I've got my Xbox One hooked up to a monitor that's got a speaker jack, and I plug those speakers in, and when I'm playing the game, I can hear that high-pitched sound coming through those speakers. But then at the same time, I also have this captured through an Elgato capture card plugged in through USB directly into my computer, and then when recording it on my computer, that high-pitched noise is still there. I don't know what it is. I've heard people say that this was some sort of an issue that people were having with the Xbox One. It is incredibly annoying. I'm very, very bothered by this. I've tested it on multiple sets of speakers, so it's not just the speakers. And like I said, I'm almost positive it's not the speakers, because directly pulling from the Xbox One into my computer and then piping it out through a live stream, so my speakers weren't even involved, other people were also hearing that high-pitched sound. I bring this up because I'm at a loss right now as to what exactly the issue could be and how I can resolve it. And if anyone out there happens to know or has had this problem or has heard of it and can help me troubleshoot it, that would be fantastic, because it is very, very bothersome. And I played the Destiny beta on the PlayStation 4, and I had no such issue, so it's definitely not the game. I don't know. So let me guys know if you know anything about that. I would appreciate the help. And then also let me know your thoughts about what I've talked about so far, recapping this first day experience of the game. I will keep you up to date throughout the course of the week as I continue to play, and let you guys know how this thing ends up shaking out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic evening. I will see you tomorrow. Keep watching and keep owning.